Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Sunny, and I'm back. Okay, so today y'all, we are really talking about some things. We're talking about the top things that you need to start your YouTube channel. So number one, you don't need a thing but a phone. All you need is a phone and some drive, okay? Or a camera and some drive. And when I mean drive, it doesn't mean flash drive. It means inside of you, you want this. You're ready for this. You're going to put in the work for this. You're going to learn for this. You're going to invest. And I don't mean in these equipment, these expensive things. I mean, you're going to invest in yourself. Ding, ding, ding. Your knowledge, honey, your knowledge. That's what you're going to invest in. Okay, so this is, the video can be over. The video can be over at this point, because the truth is you don't need a bunch of equipment. You don't need a bunch of things. They can work for you. They can benefit you. They can enhance your video, but you don't need them to get started. Okay, so I would say the number one thing that you need to get started is either a cheap camera if you already have it, and if you don't have it, that's fine. Just your phone. Just your phone. Your phone and stand in front of a window, or your phone and have the perfect shade. Get in the perfect shade of lighting. That's all you need, and something to talk about that's worth hearing. Okay? That's all you need, literally. Though I've started YouTube a few years ago and I didn't take it as serious as I am now, but one thing I've noticed with building my social media platform and my hair page and things and whatnot, and being a full-time entrepreneur, be willing to do things. I did a lot of things with just my camera. I didn't have a mic. I'm sorry, not even a camera, my phone. The camera on my phone. That I started with just one camera. One little, let me show y'all. Now, you see the back of this now? This is the iPhone, what is this? iPhone 15, I think. 15 Pro. Now, this is the iPhone 15 Pro. Now, let me tell you, when I started, it was just one little camera, we didn't have all this extra enhancement going on. We didn't have that. It was just one. It was just one. And was it even an iPhone? I can't remember. But I know for sure that I started somewhere, and then once I switched, I think it was the iPhone when I started. But even if you don't have an iPhone, other phone companies have good phone quality too. The thing is that when you're recording on your phone, you don't want to use your front camera like this. You don't want to be like this. First, you don't want to be this way if you're on YouTube. You want to be like this, of course, because this is the layout of YouTube. So if you're going to be like this, you don't want to use your front camera, because if you use your front camera, the quality is not as good as your back camera. So no matter what you do, you want it to be like this. Now, that comes to my third thing. So we said we need a phone. We need something to record on. I'm not even going to say a phone. Something to record on. Cheap, new, used, whatever. And then we need good lighting. So phone, good lighting. The good lighting is what's really going to allow people to see you. Though people need to hear you, but people need to see you. So if they hear a voice, what are they looking at? So, okay, you got to brighten your face up a bit. So that's 1 and 2. So the third thing we're getting to is a tripod. You need something for your phone or your camera or whatever to sit on. Now, again, I didn't have a tripod. I did not have a tripod when I started. So I would literally take books and chairs and whatever I can find, a candle or anything that I can kind of insert it in and sit where I needed it to sit. If you have to do that, do that, because it's about how bad do you want it until you can invest into it. And you don't need fancy equipment. I'm gonna link my Amazon store so you can see the things that I use. That some things are pricey, but some things it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be. Now, an extra bonus that you don't need starting off, but I do eventually recommend, is a microphone. It doesn't have to be the most expensive thing, but it does have to have some good quality, that if you're outside or if there's noise around you, that the person can specifically hear you. Now, at the moment, I'm not using one because there's no one in my environment right now, and it's not a lot of loud noise, but this is one that I do have that I can recommend. The DJI kit. Now this one, it actually came with my camera that I invested in this year, end of 2024, so a couple months ago. But I invested into this because I knew within myself that I was very serious with wanting to create my journey, and I've been wanting to do more vlogging stuff. So this was the perfect handheld thing that wasn't too heavy, that wasn't too ridiculous, and the creator kit came with it. So this is one of the things. They have other ones too, like Rode. I like Rode. I just don't have it yet, but I do like it, and I do plan to get it, especially if I ever venture off into any kind of like podcast kind of thing. But this is the mic. I wonder if it's dead. Sometimes when I side note, sometimes when I make my videos, I just hold it for the aesthetic and I don't even use it, and I just be talking like this and it be off. But yeah, but I do like it, and I have used it before while vlogging, while being outside, and I think it's pretty decent. Yeah, I have this in my Amazon store along with a couple of other things if you ever want to get it, or if you're interested and want to know what I use. So, but the importance of a microphone is so people can hear you clearly. They don't want a lot of static, a lot of wind, a lot of background, and that can be a distraction to the message that you are trying to get to your audience. So it's important to have, but not necessary to start. Another mic I like is, I think they call it Shure, like S-H-U-R-E. Those seem to be pretty popular, and I like those too. So one of them I'll get. Another one was the Blue Yeti X. I don't really know a lot about it, but I'm still doing my research, but it could be a potential buy. Now with the tripod, it doesn't have to be expensive like I was saying, but you need something to stabilize your video, so it's not moving and shaking, and it's kind of hard to grasp the visual. So you want something that can sit, be still, and then when you edit it, it's simple. Now, since we're talking about editing, let me get into editing software. You do not, I repeat, you do not need the most expensive $300 editing software. You don't need it. You can start with what you have. If you know someone else, don't be afraid to ask your neighbor for some sugar.
Give me some sugar. I am your neighbor.
I'm kidding. If you know somebody, I'm thirsty. Side note, I'm thirsty, and this is my first Stanley, and I'm like so pressed about it. I don't know what it's giving, but it's giving me. It's giving me. It even matched the nails. A little ASMR. Okay, so back to what we were saying. You don't need expensive editing software. Start with what you have. If you know someone that has some, it don't hurt to ask. Ask, can you borrow it? Or start with what you have. If you have an something, usually they have an iMovie, and iMovie is free. Now, you may not, it may be certain things or certain effects that you may want that you can't do on there, but that's okay. Just start with what you have. And as time goes on, as you're growing, because you're going to grow, because you're going to be consistent, right? You'll be able to afford that, and you'll be able to make bigger investments. But you want to take yourself serious in what you're doing before adding big investment costs. You don't need it. So start with what you have, and if you don't have it, start in the cheapest way possible. But eventually, I will want to upgrade to Final Cut Pro, just because so many people have used it, and it's you know, it has it's a good platform. But there are other ones that are good as well, but I would just have to dabble and see. But right now, I'm okay with iMovie too. Use what you got. Now, another game changer, especially when you become very consistent, you do not need this to get started, but another game changer is an external hard drive. I say that only because these are long-winded videos. Like, we're talking, like that's where you're expressing the most detail to your audience. And let's be real, this is where the money is. Short videos can build your following, but the long videos really build your community and really help people to resonate with you and who you are and what you have to offer, and y'all feed each other in the comment section. Oh yeah, anywho. Anywho, an external hard drive, as time goes on, you're using so much film, so much space, so much storage that it's best to have something to back your things up. So those things are, helpful. And I'll also have that in the Amazon storefront. Now, another thing when recording YouTube girls and guys is a background. Now, we want our background to be clean. We want our backgrounds to be clean and not distracting. A lot of people like to blur their backgrounds if they can. If not, that's fine. Like I said, this is supposed to be beginner friendly, so you don't need to worry about all that. You can learn that as time goes on. But if you make every decision based on what you don't have, you won't start. So start with what you have. If it's just a clean wall with minimal spots, or in front of a clean door, or you're outside and it's a more of a quiet space, they have brick walls, they have apartment building walls, they have grocery store side walls. I'm not saying show up in these places necessarily because you want to be safe, but no matter where your environment is, just try to have a clean background where it's not distracting and the person is focused on you. Now, this is not a tool, but having a proper schedule helps you remain and stay consistent on YouTube. Write down your ideas of what you want to talk about. Write down your ideas of what maybe the environment you want to be when you talk about these videos, or even the days that you plan to record and the days that you plan to edit. Those make a huge difference because it allows you to show up for your audience and even allow them to know when you plan to post, if that's something you want to do on a regular basis. But even if you post once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever it is, you just want to try your best to be consistent in it. And that builds trust in your community. They trust in that you said this and you're standing by it. You're standing on that business. You said that you will have weekly vlogs, and I want to see your weekly vlogs. What are you bringing to the table and what you're doing before adding big investment costs? We don't need it. So start with what you have, and if you don't have it, start in the cheapest way possible. Don't allow you not having all this big name brand, big list of things to prevent you from being great. You are great. God created you great. You are called out to be great. You are uniquely created to be great. You are made in His image to be great. Now take on those things, live in those things, and show up as those things that God has given you within yourself. Those visions, those ideas that line up with your purpose, and walk into this on purpose. Now, it's always a pleasure, my darling. Now let's go. It's like, I'm kidding. I want to act so bad, y'all. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this, and I pray it gave you some kind of insight that you don't need the biggest and the best things to get started. You just need those 2 things: something to record, something to say, and a little bit of drive. Love y'all, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Mwah.